off to Port Harcourt there to meet with elder statesman, former spokesman of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, his national coordinator, South-South Leadership Forum, High Chief Anabs Sarah Igbe. Good morning to you, Chief.
Good morning.
Okay, thank you for making time for us. Let's talk about your, first of all, as I said, elder statesman, you've been coordinator, leadership forum over there. Let me just start like this. When during the campaign, President Bola Tinubu, then candidate Bola Tinubu, had made a number of very encouraging statements in the area that development was just a matter of waiting to come. As soon as in the event that he became president, contributing your votes to those of other Nigerians, that the Niger Delta would be much better off for it. In those terms, do you still have some concerns? Because you got the assertion even before President Tinubu became President Tinubu that it's a place that he takes very, very seriously.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay, this is. I'm so sorry, Chief. This is an issue. Well, if you said you couldn't hear me, I was saying that when candidate Tinubu, now President Tinubu, was in your area, your region, he had said that there were many good things that his emerging as the president could come to the region. I was talking about your natural resources and all those kind of things and how he was going to take it very, very seriously. But I wanted to ask you if you still have the concerns that traditionally have been with the Niger Delta area, talking about NDDC, for instance, talking about things like pollution and all those kind of issues. Are you still satisfied that those concerns will now be properly addressed?
Just having his mouth shaking.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did this happen? We will be right there.
At TVC News, we follow the big and major news, gathering the facts, witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath of the approval of the new national minimum wage.
We are TV Station of the Year, not just for breaking news, but for being first, fair and accurate. TVC News, first with breaking news.
The National Assembly is a busy place. As the bastion of democracy, it is a place where bills are presented, motions debated, laws made, and the yearnings of the people are laid bare. Come with us as we take you through the workings of the National Assembly. We take you through plenary, committee meetings, and probes, all to ensure smooth working of the democratic process.
Every week, Green Angle, in partnership with Wild Aid, will bring you a documentary series on environmental issues affecting Nigeria's amazing biodiversity, from climate change, air pollution, and wildlife conservation. We will be traveling across Nigeria to give you on-the-ground report of the issues affecting our environment. It airs every Saturday at 4:30 p.m. only on TVC News.
Politics is defined as getting what, where, when, and how. But in the mix, many things come to play to shape the political fortune of any country.
Honorable Minister, that's how you misinform the public.
From the political actors to the electorate, campaign to voting, from debates to policy decisions, big events happen to engage us in constant conversation.
That's what we're looking for. Not some people who are talking about ethnicity. No.
Who is on your mind?
Don't worry.
Join me every day on Politics Tonight, where we dissect issues that shape our political destiny. Politics Tonight, weekdays on TVC News.
Never miss a moment. Instant breaking news from all over the globe. Live streaming of your favorite programs delivered directly to you. Watch anytime from anywhere on your mobile or smart devices. Download the TVC News app today. Available on Google Play and Apple Store.
In the month of July, on the 2nd of July, the global community celebrates World Sport Journalists' Day. The 5th of July is the first anniversary of the Kuje prison attack when some Boko Haram insurgents escaped. The 7th of July marks 25 years since the winner of the June 12, 1993 presidential election, MKO Abiola, died. His death occurred in 1998. 11th of July is World Population Day, while 15th is World Youth Skills Day. On the 17th, attention is turned to World Day for International Justice, while 18th of July is Nelson Mandela Day to honor the former South African leader. 25th of July is the World Diaspora Day, and on the 28th, the World Hepatitis Day is commemorated, as well as the World Nature Conservation Day. On the 29th of July, President Bola Tinubu will mark 2 months in office. And the 30th of July is World Day Against Trafficking in Persons. Brace up and tune in to TVC News for in-depth analysis and reports. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Okay, we're going to try again. We actually had established a visual contact with High Chief, Elder Statesman, Anabs Dara Ibe. Good morning again to you by way of checking. Can you hear us now? Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay.
Morning.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Okay, we have to make up for some lost time, unfortunately. So when candidate then, now President Tinubu, was in the region, the Niger Delta region, during the campaign phase, he, when in looking for your votes, had said that there are so many things that he had in mind that, look, should he be given the opportunity via your vote to become the president, he would be addressing those things. He spoke about ports, he spoke about steel industry, aluminum smelters, and those kind of things. So, but I know, having been listening to you on the media in recent times, that there still are a number of things that you sort of want reassurance on. Take the NDDC, for instance. Speak to me, please, Chief, on those things that you think need to be center of the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if the Niger Delta is to realize its potential. Oh dear, it's happened again.
Again.
And I assure you were very, very serious. We're in earnest.
But thank you very much for your questions. First of all, the people of Niger Delta are grateful to God for the peaceful electioneering. Secondly, we are also grateful that we have the likes of Tinubu emerging from the south. And his first outing was a bit impressive to the people of Niger Delta, particularly as it affects the NDDC. The people of Niger Delta were a bit worried when all the boards were dissolved, including the NDDC that was inaugurated barely January this year. And you know, the NDDC board ought to stay for 4 years. So when they said the news came up, we had dissolved the NDDC board, everybody was worried. The question is, why are we worried? We are worried because the present team of NDDC, the management team today, is a team that the Niger Deltans have confidence in. We have confidence in the management team because the MD, the managing director himself, was one of the activists that was in the creeks, running from one pillar to the other, canvassing for development of the Niger Delta. He was the secretary of the IYC when NDDC was passed into law by the National Assembly. Precisely when Obasanjo came to Port Harcourt, this same man was the secretary that insisted that they must get a development commission, and today is in the saddle of the NDDC. We are very happy because we believe he knows all the nooks and crannies of the Niger Delta, and he has a team, a general in the Nigerian Army who has the finance, very disciplined. We also have a technocrat in the project. So we are very comfortable with the team, and for Mr. President to have retained them, the leadership of Niger Delta came together and said, thank you, Mr. President. We thank you so much for that. But there is still a rumor going around that people are putting pressure for more changes. So far as we are concerned, we are comfortable with the management team. All we need is Mr. President to quickly inaugurate another board, including the management team that is there. Nigeria depends solely on oil and gas, and the oil and gas is coming mostly from this region. And we as Niger Deltans, we don't want problem in Nigeria. We want Nigeria to prosper, as well as we also prosper. So long as we prosper, Nigeria can prosper, no problem. So the oil and gas has destroyed our economy, has destroyed our environment, has destroyed everything about us. And we have been crying from time to time for development. And for this reason, the successive government has been able to bring forward intervention agencies like the NDDC, Unpack to NDDC, the Ministry of Niger Delta, and the Amnesty Program. But what is more important to us and to Nigeria is the NDDC, because we need a man who can be able to communicate with the creek and also communicate with Abuja. And that is the man today, the MD of NDDC, Chief Dr. Samuel Obuku. We have confidence in him, and we believe that he can be able to be a bridge builder between Nigeria and the Niger Delta. Niger Delta, as a people, we have been contributing so much for Nigeria, right from the pre-colonial era of palm oil and rubber and so on. We have been contributing. Then the advent of oil. And for the first time, somebody from Oloibri, where the oil was founded, Ogbea is now the MD of NDDC. And we believe with this man, things will work out well, because he knows how to speak to the youths, he knows how to speak to the contractors, he knows how to speak to the chiefs, he knows how to speak to the activist world, and he's been able to tame all free nerves. He can do better for Niger Delta and for Nigeria if Mr. President will give him all support. So what we're trying to say is, as the people of Niger Delta, we support him, and we also thank Mr. President for retaining this team.
Okay, and also, of course, you're going to need a board for for a board to be inaugurated, right?
Yeah, we have asked Mr. President to, as a matter of fact, quickly set up a board with credible human beings who have the managerial skill, who have the experience, who are committed to the development of Niger Delta. If we have such a board, definitely the Niger Delta region will see a difference. In the past, some persons were appointed for political favor, and when some of them refused to play to the gallery, they were removed. I can give you an example of Ibim Semdetari when she was acting MD. There were forces that wanted her to bring money from Niger Delta to develop other part of the country, and she refused. And what did they do to her? They removed her. We also saw what happens to Barrister Joy Dunye when she also disagreed with her boss over the implementations of the NGDC program. And we have witnessed issues between the National Assembly and the management, interim management of NGDC. We've seen all kinds of demonstrations, all kinds of politics. But this time, it's not about politics. It's about actual development of the Niger Delta. And not only developing Niger Delta, but somebody who can be able to relate with both the creek at the same time with Abuja. So that there will be harmony, there will be understanding, and there will be development.
Now, how about the Niger Delta Ministry?
We are grateful to God.
Surely. Okay.
Yes, that is.
You have the Niger Delta Ministry. This should be very helpful in coordinating all these things you've spoken about.
When Yaradua came, the Niger Delta Ministry is not supposed to be coordinating ministry. It's supposed to be a developmental ministry like the Federal Capital Development Authority, Abuja. That's what it's supposed to be, how to develop the area. But rather than developing the Niger Delta and relationship, working in partnership with other agencies, they have been relegated to the background in the past administration. And so they are now playing only supervisory role, which we are not pleased with. Last year, they were given only 10 billion naira, which is not fair to Niger Delta. Previously, they were getting over 100 billion, 80 billion, and they were starting with the responsibility of building this West Road. The East West Road, as it is an eyesore. Over 20 years, we cannot get a road. But that road is the major road servicing the Nigerian economy. From the ports, goods are moved to every part of the country, and it passes through that road without completing it for over time. A few months ago, we had a flood, and the flood destroyed part of the road. Until today, nothing has happened to that road. And this is the road that the ports use. And don't forget, ports are the gateway to the national economy. And yet, government is not attending to it. And the oil is coming from there. We are building roads to the J, railway to the J, roads to the J. But yet, we cannot solve the problem of the Niger Delta because of commitment. The people who are there were not committed to the development of Niger Delta. And tomorrow they will say, oh, we are troublemakers. We are not. All we are saying that oil, being a blessing to Nigeria, should also be a blessing to Niger Delta. But as it is now, oil is a cost to Niger Delta and not a blessing to us. And NGDC has come, the Ministry of Niger Delta, we beg Mr. President to get a committed person, like what we have in Chief Dr. Ogboku, to handle that ministry and remove their eyes from NGDC. Let them do their own bit. Government should fund them directly and forget NGDC. That's what they're saying.
You talk about some of the things you've spoken about. I know that you have your, I don't know if one should say issues with former Governor Wike, but it looked like it was a period of development, but maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe I should really be asking you for your impression as a spokesman for the Niger Delta and the efforts that have been that have been executed by him. Okay, I was just waiting for, in case there was a delay, but it looks like you can't hear me. I was going to say that surely, yeah, there's no problem with people wanting more, but it's not as if the entirety of the Niger Delta has stood still in time as it was. And I suggested that consider the efforts of former governor of the place, is not of the entire Niger Delta, but former governor of Rivers. I was wondering what your impression was. Is this the kind of thing that you want all the governors, as it were, that constitute the Niger Delta, that they should be doing, or do you have a totally different view of goings on in the Niger Delta?
Well, some of the Niger Delta governors did well. Some did not do well, in the sense that they don't take into account the oil-bearing communities. Like in the case of Rivers State, the governor of Rivers State, the then governor of Rivers State, Yoson Wike, never bothered about oil-bearing communities. As we speak today, despite all this 30% derivation, despite all the agencies, the oil-bearing communities are still living in squalors. They do not have water, they do not have light, no good school. Some of them do not even have jetty, no road, and the people are suffering. No hospital. Despite the damage of oil production on human life, the government, who collects 30%, never deem it fit to address the issue of the Niger Delta oil producing area. And that is why you still get continuous agitation. If the governors have done well by addressing the issue of Niger Delta oil-bearing communities, I think we would have said, yes, there's development. But some of the past governors never did. They're only interested in developing their area or the state capital. State capital is just a small part of the state. The rural area where the oil is coming from is neglected. And that is why we are agitated, and the government, federal government, is giving us 30%. I see no reason why the state governors will not use the money to effectively develop the oil-bearing communities. And I have challenged some of them, like the governor of Rivers, former governor of Rivers State, Chief Yoson Wike, to give account of 30% derivation. What he has done with the 30% derivation in the oil-bearing communities, rather than coming to accuse NDDC or other agencies. They pot calling the kettle black when it has not done what they're supposed to do. So we are saying some of them have failed us because they are not from the oil-bearing communities. Some of them have failed us because of their selfish agenda. Some of them have failed us because they don't know what we fought and how we got to this level. They don't even know how we come about 30%. So why would they not squander the money the way they like, playing politics with it? We are saying development must be driven to the oil-bearing communities. We must link up the oil-bearing communities with the main cities. That is not done, and that is why we are not happy. Today, we have somebody who is from the oil-bearing community as the MD of NDDC. We believe he can do better because he knows the pains we receive from the oil exploration in the Niger Delta.
Now, you spoke about part of what you're speaking about being the reason for some of the agitation. So that reminded me about the special program for former Niger Delta militants, talking about the Amnesty Program. What's your evaluation of that? And does the program need to continue, or has it gone on long enough? Can those former militants now stand on their own feet? Because all of these things add up.
Well, the Amnesty Program was one of the deals we got from the former President Yaradua, the Amnesty Program and the Ministry of Niger Delta. Unfortunately, the Amnesty Program is just looked upon as a small deal. If you look at the history of Niger Delta, right from the 18th century to now, the Ministry of Niger Delta, the Niger Delta area has been militant, has been proliferated with all kinds of arms. And you know that they are the first to see the Europeans and the Portuguese and British and Germany. And one of the things they did was to come up with arms, cannon, and so on, so that we can fight among ourselves. It was also a center for slave trade. So it has been emerged with all kinds of arms until recently we had this issue of militancy in the Niger Delta. If you can see, as far back as 1962, when Isaac Boro staged a 12-day war against the Nigerian government over the development of the Niger Delta. So it has the history of being proliferated with arms. So the Amnesty Program is to disarm the region, thereby giving peace in the Gulf of Guinea. But if you now say you are going to terminate the Amnesty Program, then you will expect more problems in the Gulf of Guinea, including piracy and other vices. So my advice is that should be a body responsible for maintaining peace in the Niger Delta. While NGDC is saddled with the issue of development, Amnesty should be saddled with the issue of security of the Niger Delta. And so if we expand their scope and Mr. President empowers them to mop up harms in the Niger Delta, it will go a long way in resolving the economic issue like bunkering and other kinds of vices, piracy in the Gulf of Guinea, and so on. So I think what we need to do, what the government needs to do, is to get a committed activist to run the Amnesty Program. If we have a committed activist in the program, the person will now be able to expand it in terms of training, disarmament, and reintegration. Not only that, we must be able to make the place very peaceful for oil and gas exploration, as well as the Gulf of Guinea, so that our maritime activities can go on in that. So that is a very key sector of the national security. Although we have the military in the Niger Delta, but some of them, they are compromised their official duties by being involved in oil and gas activities, which is not supposed to be. So we need our natives, the Niger Deltans, to be more involved, to be proactive in the security of the region, including stopping the oil theft, including the piracy in the Niger Delta, in the Gulf of Guinea, and other things. So I think Amnesty should continue with more responsibility of ensuring that there is peace in the region, ensuring that there is peace in the Gulf of Guinea, ensuring that we have smooth operation of the oil and gas. So that is what the Amnesty should do, while NGDC should be responsible for development of the Niger Delta.
Okay then. Okay, Chief, at this stage, I'll just take a quick break now. Please stay with us. We'll be right back and we'll continue this conversation.
It's always a great morning on the TVC Breakfast Show.
Thanks for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
With the array of stories that matter and what's behind them.
As you say, the first blow indicates the direction of government.
Tell us what really is going on between your union and the federal government.
Once it's generated,
if you don't use it, it's waste. We are not even sure whether we have a strategy for security.
Are you saying that there was nothing wrong in that?
Was he the one driving the taxi?
Answer the question.
Reveal your morning with all you need to know.
Like the
yes, just mundane lyrics.
Yes.
How does that fit into your scheme of events or duties right now?
No chief of staff, no general has the right to call a governor to order. The governor has been elected by his people.
Start your day right, because this is the breakfast show that adds to your breakfast. TVC Breakfast, weekdays at 7 a.m. only on TVC News.
Okay, welcome back, and thank you very much for staying with us. We're speaking with High Chief Anabs Sarah Igbe, and he's been giving us his impressions on what needs to be done to keep the Niger Delta in its most optimistic, shall we say, its best state, now that that President Tinubu is in charge. He's at the head of government. And he spoke about, because you spoke, Chief, about some of the issues, oil theft, among others, I wanted to ask you about the removal of fuel subsidy. And you can see what is going on now. So it'll be good in passing, if not sort of in passing, to hear what your thoughts are on the removal of fuel subsidy, especially as we have been hearing that a lot of our fuel has been stolen anyway. Give me your impressions there. It does seem to me that you can't hear us yet, Chief. I wanted you to speak, if you will, on...
I'm getting you now.
Okay. Give me your impressions, Chief, on the removal of fuel subsidy and the attendant, shall we say, challenges, if not exactly hardships, although really, as you say, challenges and hardships. Give me your impressions on the removal of fuel subsidy and its effect on Nigerians.
Thank you very much. My opinion on the fuel subsidy is that Mr. President was too quick in moving into the removal of subsidy. I look at it as a banana peel that he moved in, and rather than trying to look at the economics of fuel pricing is going up every day. The former president set the tone for Mr. President by saying he will remove fuel subsidy in July this year. But Mr. President was very quick in announcing fuel subsidy from May 29th, and that has caused a lot of hardship on Nigerians. If I will advise Mr. President, what thing he should do is to stop this idea of exporting our crude oil to a foreign land, and they produce it, and they bring it back and sell us fuel. Dangote Refinery has been commissioned, and we believe they are good enough to go. But we are also hearing they are giving license to import petroleum product instead of refining product. We also have our refineries. The 3 refineries, Port Harcourt, we understood, has been rehabilitated, and YORI Refinery is in the process of rehabilitation. If that is the case, what I would love Mr. President to do is to look in depth into fuel subsidy, because for the past 2-3 years, NNPC has been the sole importer of petroleum. And so government is the sole importer of petroleum, so we don't know who is taking the subsidy. 2, subsidy. Why subsidy? Why not subsidize the price of our crude locally? Work with NDDC, work with Niger Delta, so that you will get the more than 3,000 barrels of crude oil. The 2.4 million barrels of crude oil is going through OPEC should be given their international price, while the remaining maybe 1,000 barrels of crude oil or thereabout should be given a Naira price to the local refineries. And if the local refineries are getting crude oil in Naira price and they are producing locally, they have created employment for Nigerians, and as well they can be able to peg that price. Because if you continue to increase fuel, it will affect all segment of the economy, and the poor will become poorer while the rich will become richer. This biting very hard. The palliatives they are bringing is not substantive enough to take care of the high price of fuel. And so the fuel is the key. It's like the blood in the human body. It affects all segments. The food supply, the everything you talk about is centered on transportation, centered on the fuel price. So the economic team should quickly look at these issues critically by working with Niger Delta, particularly the Niger Delta Ministry, the NDDC, and the Amnesty Program, so that the oil theft will stop and we can be able to meet our open quota, thereby making more money for Nigeria, as well as selling our part of the crude oil in the Nigerian refinery at a Naira price and peg it so that exchange rate factor will not come to play, the issue of freight will not come to play, the issue of double handling, port charges, custom charges, all these things will not come to play, and other logistics involved in the in and out of crude oil of Nigeria. So if we are producing our own crude oil here, we are refining it here, and we are supplying to Nigeria here, I think the price will drastically come down. That is what we're supposed to do to make sure we have a stable price in Nigeria.
Indeed, it very well might come down, but the issue is we don't quite know when the Dangote Refinery, even though it's been opened, is actually going to be ready for business. That's what we're hearing. I haven't personally been into that facility before. So apparently there still is, they're still crossing their T's and dotting their I's in that regard. So that happy day hasn't arrived when those things that you are talking about might well come into play. But the other thing, of course, is that the palliatives, although I'm not sure that presidential spokesman Dele Alaki likes that word. Let me use intervention instead. The interventions that have been promised, I've been hearing that now they are going to be reviewing the 8,000, the magic 8,000 naira figure. Give me your thoughts on that. That government following, listening, and commentary that's going on. It's now reported that they actually are reviewing, or they've served notice that they would be reviewing the nature of their intervention. You have any thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, like I said, the president was pushed into a boo-boo trap, and he did not do his proper analysis before taking steps. First of all, if government was not deceiving the public, why will they commission Dangote Refinery when it is not ready? It gave us hope that Dangote Refinery is ready to produce, and we all applauded that decision. So for the former president to commission Dangote Refinery is too sad. Then secondly, they talking about the palliatives or the whatever
the interventions
they are taking. How will they comprehend it? The interventions. You see, I used to fill my tank with 18,000, 19,000. Today, 50,000 cannot fill my fuel tank. The fuel price has increased from 189 to almost 600 naira. That's 3 times the cost. And how many Nigerians can afford to be burning fuel? It's going to affect industry, commerce, everything. So Mr. President is in charge. He should be able to assemble the team. MIP is getting his ministers to the National Assembly, but he should get a proper economic team to really study some of these things before they are made public, because his name is at stake. And we believe that if he can turn Lagos State to paradise, he can also turn Nigeria to paradise. So we want to see that magic wind in him, and not to encourage things that will bring hardship to us before we see the heaven. We don't need to pass through hell to heaven. We want to see that Mr. President do what he has meant. His good intentions should be really followed. We like him, but this hardship is becoming too hard on Nigerians. All being equal, we will encourage him to ensure that the refineries are up to date and they are doing well, including the Dangote Refinery that the federal government is a shareholder, so that we will not buy fuel in a very high price. We are producing oil, and we are suffering. The Niger Delta is getting the brunt of oil production. Our environment has been polluted, our traditional occupation has been destroyed, our ecology has been destroyed, and we had hope of good governance. So if it has come, let the palliative be in form of how to create employment, how to make more money for people, let the industries be there, making the price of goods and services to be cheap. Not fuel price going up and every other thing is going up. It's not in the interest of the Nigerian public. So we appeal to him to be able to get the refineries working and also create more employment opportunities for Nigerians by way of attracting investment into Nigeria.
Indeed. And I recall, well, first of all, as you know, like it or leave it, as Mr. President said on that day of his inauguration, it's gone. Fuel subsidy is gone simply because the country couldn't afford it, no matter the intentions. Now, it's gone, but everybody is now looking, everybody's quite stunned, I would imagine. Yes, they knew it was going to be tight, but what we're hearing now is that some people actually are now having to trek, and all of that is where it's at. So it's gone because, as the managing director of NNPC was explaining yesterday, I believe that, look, this is what you get when you let it be at the behest of market forces, which I understand that in the best wisdom has to be the case for now. But when you look at the other opportunities, because this is about, when you look at the other opportunities, Mr. President, you can't hear us anymore. That's a problem.
Okay, you're coming now.
Okay.
I'm not hearing you again.
Well, I wasn't saying anything, but I am speaking now. Can you hear me now? I am speaking now. Okay. Well, if you're hearing me now, let me just try. You're talking about the nature of interventions that are going to be most useful, will be jobs. If you can get a situation where this administration is able to create many more jobs, that would help out a lot. Because apparently I understand that fuel subsidy is gone. The president said so. It is gone, and so we can't revisit that, unfortunately. Well, maybe I scratch that word. I suppose we have to, quote unquote, grow up and know that, well, we can only consume what we produce. And this thing that we are producing, this oil, painful as it is now, if this is the time that we're doing it, we didn't do it 8 years ago, well, we're going through pangs, birth pangs. There's a sense in which, do you appreciate them when they say that they really are appealing to people to be understanding that they see their pains and that they are working around the clock to address those pains, even as they have said that the 8,000 naira we were talking about before is now up for review? It's like, can you see it from their point of view as well?
Well, we appreciate the government effort in ensuring that we have a prosperous Nigeria. At the same time, Nigerians must also communicate with government. We have serious unemployment deficit in Nigeria. And so if government can be able to create employment opportunities and give people good pay, when you have money, you don't care how you spend it. So when there is job and there is money, people will spend and they will not complain because the money is there to pay. But when you don't have the power, the demanding power to say you can afford to buy, it means something is wrong. So we will appeal to Mr. President, in as much as his good intentions will be, to say, look, find a way with the economic team, with his ministers, of creating job opportunities. Nigeria have a lot of potentials to become great if we can put our experiences together and place them in industrializing the country. The country needs to be revalorized industrially so that every home can be able to do something. If people are doing something and they are selling whatever they are producing and they are making money, you can take fuel to any height. Nobody will complain because there will be money to pay. But where there is no job, where there are no opportunities for people to make money, and your prices are increased on a daily basis, it means the whole economy will be in trouble. But if there are alternative or whatever you call it, and people are having money from sources, other sources, there are job opportunities here, the ports are working, like in the Niger Delta today, our ports are moribund. I used to be a dock worker sometime when I was growing up, but today the dock industry is dead. Everything is going to Lagos and we're having a lot of demurrages going on. If they can allow these ports in the Niger Delta to also take part in the port activities, our port will be active and so many things can go on. And where there is money, nobody will complain. But where there is no money, I'm afraid everybody will complain. That is where we are now. Subsidy is gone, yes, but what is replacing it? We have to get something to replace it. What to replace it should be industrializing the country.
Indeed.
To be to create employment and wealth for the country. As soon as we do that, our children are employed. They will not depend on the parents anymore. Graduates of 10 years, 5 years, 6 years are unemployed. And so many people are not employed. Teach us how to catch the fish, and we'll know how to, we will not bother you. Don't dash us fish. We don't want fish to be dashed to us. Let Nigerians know how to make money. Let us go into full production. Nigeria has been in service. Service is no longer going to be helpful with this issue of fuel subsidy going. We must go into productive activities. So government should lead us the way, show us the way, and give us the support. The financial institutions should also support production. Then they must also improve on power, because without power, there will be no production. So if power is improved and there's production, I don't think anybody will complain about subsidy.
You know, yeah, thank you, Chief. When President Tinubu was, over there earlier, just before he became president, he was talking about, and you've also spoken about some development where at the ports, there are no ports there, it used to be there, and he was talking about aluminum smelting. Are there any, tell me about the other potential industrial areas that can be developed. President Tinubu himself mentioned aluminum smelting when he was there. Are there other areas of potential?
Well, of course, the oil smelting company has been a controversy for some time between one of us, Dr. Jaja, and the Bureau of Public Procurement. Dr. Jaja won the bid to run the aluminum smelter, but there are a lot of litigation over that place. President should intervene so the aluminum smelter in the Karabasi should be productive. That alone will create a lot of employment in the Niger Delta. Then we're talking about industrial devolution. For you to talk of industrial devolution, you must talk about steel and aluminium. The moment you have steel and aluminium, you can improve your production line. So we have Ajakuta has been idle, despite how many billions of naira that has been wasted in that place. We have sunk in so much money in Ajakuta. So Ajakuta should be made to work. Whichever way they can make it work, let it work. Whichever way they can make it aluminum smelter to work, let it also work. We need employment, we need production in Nigeria. Let us also export aluminium. Let us also export steel. Then we have a lot of solid mineral in this country. Every part of Nigeria is blessed with all kinds of solid minerals. We need to explore all these solid minerals and make them useful to Nigeria. We cannot think of oil and gas alone. We have a lot of, God bless Nigeria with several mineral resources. Mr. President should set up a committee. The solid mineral should be taken serious. Investors should be invited into it so that we can continue to produce. Look at the tiles we are importing. We have the raw materials here. We have been able to stop importation of cement because we have the raw materials here. We have gold. We have all kinds of aluminium. Even so many minerals that we can be useful to us, we can export, that will give us billions of dollars. These things are not very nice. So if we can encourage investors to come and we also look into it, I think that will go ahead to encourage the resource control or fiscal federalism we're talking about. Until Nigeria goes to fiscal federalism, we will not be what we're supposed to be. There will be no competition among the states. There will be no competitions among us. But when we go to fiscal federations and we are able to devolve that devolution of power to the local level, then we can see every part of Nigeria will be busy making money. We will be busy with production. We will be busy creating employment opportunities. We will be creating wealth for everybody. And we will not talk about subsidy, neither will we complain about how we get jobs. Because we have the potentials to create jobs in Nigeria, but we have not been able to harness it. So we have to harness it in such a manner that every part of Nigeria will be busy and will be industrial centers across the country.
Okay. You've also had reason to complain about the deployment of the 13% derivation that your region traditionally gets. Are you unhappy with that? Because whereas they were trying for a higher percentage, even the one that is there, we've seen the way some governors in the area have used it, and but give me your impressions on whether or not such incomes have been, in your opinion, well deployed.
Well, the people of Niger Delta are not too happy, particularly the oil-bearing communities are sad with the way and manner some of the governors uses the 13% derivation. 13% derivation is meant for the development of the oil-bearing communities, and that is not the case in most cases. Particularly Rivers State, for example. I have challenged the governor of Rivers State to show Nigerians which oil-producing community has it developed. Which of them has it developed? None. Look at Obagbom and Donny, Moko, that was developing is dead. Body is not doing well compared to the amount of money that passes through Body to the international market. The oil-bearing communities, those who are producing oil at all, nothing is happening there. Like I said, we are still not having water, common water to drink, no electricity. Some of us cannot be linked to national grid. And if you cannot link to national grid, what is wrong in government providing generators and diesel or petrol for these communities to enjoy light? You can see a flow station having light, the next community to it less than 5 kilometers is in darkness. You can see the life we live in Niger Delta. Some of us still live in squalors. We are living in thatch houses. You can see what is happening in Ayotoro now, in Ogun State. The Ayotoro community is submerging. And this is a major oil producing community, and nothing is happening. Yet we are having 13% derivation. Look at River State. The places like Mile, places like Andoni, Kola, Edama, Soku, where we have the gas depot. Nothing is happening there. No single development, no road, nothing is happening in those areas. And you are saying you are taking 13%. If you give them 13% of their production, tell me how would they develop? They would develop into cities. These things are not done. So we are not happy. Okay. But that notwithstanding, better governance will come. The way we have a better MDDC executive. If things are given to the Niger Delta, if we are given our fair share, we have moved the revenue to 50-50, I think better governance will come that will really use it to develop the Niger Delta. Niger Delta is part of Nigeria. If Niger Delta is developed, Nigeria is also developed. Look at the Niger Delta. Look at Lagos.
We're going to have to leave it there, Chief.
Is having the Atlantic Ocean. We have a lot of communities in the Niger Delta.
Yes, I'm sorry. We're going to have to leave it. I can hear you, but we're going to have to leave it. We're going to have to leave it there because we've run out of time. But, you know, this has been very useful because you've pointed out to Nigerians areas that still need attention, serious attention from the incoming administration. So I want to thank you very much, Chief, for making time for us this morning. We've been speaking with elder statesman, former spokesman of Pan Niger Delta Forum, national coordinator of the South-South Leadership Forum, High Chief Anabs Sarah Igwe. Once again, thank you very much for your time today. That's our program. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am YORI FOLARIN. Bye-bye for now.
Following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. Do you spend the night trying to get comfortable? Your knees rub bone on bone. Your back and hips ache. You wake up in pain? Not anymore. ShopX TV is proud to introduce the Contour Legacy Pillow, the patented, ergonomically designed tapered leg pillow that naturally fits the contours of your legs, knees and thighs to help align your spine and alleviate pain. Watch, when you sleep on your side, your leg falls forward, twisting your pelvis and lower back, putting pressure on your spine, hip and sciatic. But the Contour Legacy Pillow cushions your knees and cradles your legs, relieving stress on joints while restoring your lower back alignment. Sleeping on your side, your leg comes over and puts you out of alignment, causing lower back pain, hip pain, even knee pain. By using the Contour Legacy Pillow, it restores the natural alignment of the spine, helping to alleviate pain and pressure, leading to much more restful sleep. Old-fashioned leg pillows are bulky, but the anatomical design of the Legacy Pillow fits perfectly the shape of your body the way nature intended. You can even use two together for full leg alignment. Legacy Pillow is exclusively ventilated, so it always stays cool and dry. With top crescent design, it cuddles up to you perfectly and easily moves with you. Ordinary pillows go flat, but the Legacy Pillow is made up of soft memory foam, so it never loses its shape and the cover is machine washable. The Contour Legacy Pillow is now available in Nigeria, exclusively from Shopex TV. You could be paying up to 500,000 naira for an orthopedic bed that doesn't properly support your spine. But call the number on your screen now and get 2 Legacy leg pillows for just 69,900 naira and get relief from back and hip issues. But wait! If you call now, we'll upgrade you to the Contour Better Sleep Collection. The collection comes with 2 Contour Legacy leg pillows and 2 Contour Cool Gel head pillows at no extra charge. The Contour Cool Gel head pillows' soothing orthopedic support will cradle your head and neck for full alignment, while keeping you cool all through the night for the best sleep of your life. Incredible! That's 2 Contour Legacy pillows and 2 Cool Gel head pillows for just 69,900 naira. And that's not all. Place your order now